my name is Rəşad, and in this video I will be talking about reading in IELTS. First of all, I have to tell you that reading is considered as one of the most difficult parts for students due to the fact that most of them have poor vocabulary, or let's say don't read a lot. Today we will be focusing on several aspects and let's say some strategies. I should probably mention that there are 3 passages of up to 700 or 800 words, and you will have 13 or 14 questions about those passages, and totally it will be 40. There are several types of questions, such as multiple choice questions, which will be discussed in this video. Let's say yes, no, not given, or true, false, not given questions. The next is headings, like how to match headings, and the next is completion. These are the most famous ones. Of course, there are many other types, such as labeling the diagram or finding the name, who said what, and so on. Let's talk about the strategies first. There are 3 main strategies, but the truth is that it will depend on you. No one can say that if this works for me, then it will work for someone else. It is an individual thing. Even if your teacher tells that, for example, that is the best style, or let's say the best strategy, you can never be sure unless you try it for yourself. Strategy number 1. In the first strategy, students usually read the whole passage to have a clear picture of what is what and what is where, and then they go to the questions. Well, it may work for some people who have really good memory, but it may not work for the others. Especially, time management will be poor in this strategy. So the advantage is that you will have a clear idea about the passage itself, and the biggest disadvantage is time management. Why? Because if you want to read the whole passage, it will take you 6 or 8 minutes. And for each passage, you have only 20 minutes. If you spend 6 or 8 minutes on a passage, then you will have from 12 to 14 minutes to 13 or 14 questions. But we are humans, we are not perfect. It means we can easily forget what we have read, or we can remember unnecessary details that will not be important to answer the question. And then when you look through the questions, you will read it again. So the time will double. So 6-8 minutes will become 16 minutes. So you will lose twice more time than is needed. But for some people, this works well. So you have to find a technique that works well for you. So I advise you to try out all these skills. You can combine, like for passage 1, use strategy 1, for passage 2, strategy 2, and passage 3, strategy 3. But the reality is that for each type of question, the approach must be different, not the same approach. Now, let's talk about the second strategy. In this strategy, you are asked to, let's say, focus on the questions. Underline the keywords. Keywords are the numbers, the names, the facts, the things that must be important or can be important. And then you will start reading the passage. Well, the advantage is that you will look for particular details, so you will know what to find and what to write. I would say the only disadvantage is with heading questions, because even if you read the, let's say, list of headings, it will be hard to match them. That's why I advise you to use a different approach for heading questions. You should start with shorter ones, and you should eliminate one by one. So you will match the first one, then the other short one, and then you will have less options for less questions. But this strategy works perfectly well for multiple choice questions, for true, false, not given questions, and for tables. That works pretty well. Now let's shift to strategy number 3. In this strategy, students usually look out only for numbers and, let's say, figures and the names, because it is easy to find them, and they don't focus on other questions which may be difficult. Once they have finished all these questions which are easy to find, then they spend some time on, let's say, the other types of questions. Now let's talk about different types of questions in particular. Multiple choice questions. You will usually have 3 to 4 answers, like A, B, C or A, B, C, D. And the most important thing is to know how to identify and find out keywords. For example, in Cambridge IELTS 4, practice test 3, page number 67, question number 2. The question is, the main purpose of SKI, and you will probably see it here, is, and the words, the answers. You shouldn't remember all the answers. The most important thing is purpose and SKI. These are your keywords. So this is one type of multiple choice questions where the question itself is important in order to find keywords. And in another type, which is the same book, Cambridge IELTS 4, practice test 4, it's on page number 91 if I'm not wrong, question number 12. Biomechanics specialists used theoretical models, and you will see that A, B, C, D, all of them have one word, Fosbury flap. Actually, you don't need to even remember the question itself, just remember Fosbury flap. And then while reading, if you see Fosbury flap, then you will come back to the question, analyze the question and answer it. The most important tip here is to be able to find out and identify the keywords. This is half of the thing that you have to do. Now let's shift to true, false, not given questions. For some students it is pretty difficult, and for some of them, and of course if you know how to deal with it, if you deal with it properly, then it will be easier. The most important aspect here is identifying the keywords, and more importantly, number the questions. I mean, when you read the passage, if you have already looked at the keywords, you will know what question is where. So you are kindly asked to number them. For example, question number 18, and you should not forget, they are in a particular sequence, like 18 is followed by 19, is followed by 20, 21, and 22. So if you feel that you have found 18, just number it somewhere like close to the question itself in the text. Then question number 19, question number 20. And then you will find question number 22. You will not be able to find question number 21. That is because question number 21 was a not given question. So the easiest way to find out not given questions is through numbering. And one important fact and tip that I have to tell you is that even if there are only 3 true, false, not given questions, one of them must be given. I mean, if you have like 15, 16, and 17, they are true, false, not given questions. One of them is true, one of them is false, and one of them is not given. That's useful to know. Or if you have 5 true, false, not given questions, and your answers are yes, no, yes, no, yes, then probably you made a mistake, because not given must be somewhere there, and you made a mistake. Headings. We all tend to have problems with headings, don't we? Yes. You are advised to start with shorter headings, shorter paragraphs, sorry. And then you have to match it to see if you answered correctly or not. Usually the answer to headings, the answer to paragraph heading questions is given in the first 2 sentences. While reading the first two sentences, please analyze it. One of the ideas is repeatedly given there, and that is probably the main issue, the main aspect in the paragraph. So first start with short headings and then move to short paragraphs and then move to longer paragraphs. Sentence completion. You should pay attention to the number of words that you need to write. It can be one word, it can be two words, or no more than 3 words. First of all, you have to keep that in mind. And then, by looking at the keywords and identifying it or finding in the passage, you can think about the probable answer. But before you answer, just try to guess. Do you need to use a verb? For example, there are dots and quickly. Well, probably that is going to be a verb. Think quickly, act quickly, run quickly. So you need to focus on the keyword and a verb that lies next to it, and probably it will be accompanied by a word like swiftly or fast or something like this. And now let's talk about the tips. Actually, there is only one main tip that I would like to tell you. This is those students who have problems with time management and understanding are those who read much less than the others. If you are a person who reads blogs in English, who reads, let's say, the news in English, then you probably won't have difficulties with that. You don't need to read everything that you don't like. Try to start with the ones that you like. If you like football, read something in English about football, about Premier League, about the other leagues. If you like fashion, try to follow some, let's say, blogs and read the articles, or let's say some other shares and posts. If you like cooking, find something about cooking and read that in English. Because the more you read, the better your skill becomes. And if you master this craft, if you master this skill, then no problems with time management and the understanding of the question itself. Moreover, try to read and analyze what you have read and just repeat that. It will also help you with your speaking because you will be able to remember more information if you keep practicing. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video was useful. If you have questions, you can ask. The very best of luck to you.